Hi, and welcome to Change the Channel, a webinar all about the law of attraction and how you can use the law of attraction to apply it to your life to co-create a life aligned with your desires. I'm Val White.
And I'm Adam Pasednik.
And today, by the time you leave us, you are going to have the fundamentals and the basics of understanding what the law of attraction is, how it works, and how you can use the law of attraction to create a life experience that you truly desire.
And what we've accumulated, like we've done a lot of trainings, we've hired many coaches, we've done all the things. We've been doing this for 5 or 6 years now. So our spiritual toolboxes are overflowing. So we're going to give you some little
tips and
tricks and golden nuggets of knowledge that maybe you can't pick up when you Google law of attraction, or if you pick up a book. The things that we've kind of learned over the years, and they're like, little shortcuts in a way. So I'm really excited to share.
And we do have an offer at the end of this, so stay tuned.
Yes.
We do have a year-long mentorship called the Pinnacle Mastermind Program, which we'll get to later.
Mm-hmm.
And that is if you love what you experienced today and you want to extend that for a long time with our support and leadership,
a year long,
you will have that opportunity. But you will leave here today understanding the basics and how to start applying them to your life today.
Shazam.
Sound good?
Okay.
Let's do it. All right. So what is the law of attraction? Law of attraction basically states that like attracts like.
Yes.
So just like the law of gravity, there are laws in the universe, there are universal laws. And when you understand the law of gravity, you can work within the parameters of that law to have outcomes that maybe didn't look possible. So just as the Wright brothers understood that the law of gravity had certain elements that they had to work within those parameters. And so working within those parameters, they were able to build a machine that could work within the law of gravity and then create their desired outcome, which was to fly. Just like the law of gravity, the law of attraction has certain parameters that you can work in. When you understand those parameters, then you can apply those parameters to how you live your life to create a desired outcome, which is not flying in a machine, but which is to bring more happiness, health, wealth.
But if flying in a machine would bring you happiness, then you can totally manifest.
Then you can go to southwest.com and buy a ticket. Easy peasy.
Law of attraction.
All right. So I like to think of the law of attraction like a television.
Yeah.
I just actually went to Google and said, how do televisions work? And I'm going to read you exactly what it says. It says, recording the pictures and sound of a TV program using a video camera. So we know that. We all have cameras on our phones these days. Now, let's talk about TVs, first of all. There's been a lot, TVs have come a long way.
I was just about to say, the TVs we grew up are so archaic compared to these flat screen, 4D
box, a big wooden box.
Those were
that took up most of the room.
Oh, they were amazing though.
But throughout the years, the process of how a TV works, how you turn on the TV and how you find something to watch is pretty much the same as it was when the TV was invented back in the 40s or 50s. I don't know. I'm not a TV expert.
Should have Googled that.
I'm a law of attraction expert, not a television expert. TVs have evolved, but they all work the same. So there is a video that's captured, just like you can capture on your smartphone, a video and audio. The video and audio is then transformed into or converted into an electric file, electric frequency. That electric frequency is then traveled through the air to find a TV receiver. So there's a transmitter, you video, you translate into electromagnetic frequency.
Yep.
The transmitter transmit that frequency, and then you have in your home a receiver, a TV receiver that then takes that frequency, the electromagnetic frequency, and then translates it back into video and audio. And so everything that we're watching on TV has traveled to us through the air.
Oh, I wish I had a science teacher like you. Like that totally makes sense. Like I would have been like a TV repairman growing up. That inspired me.
So it's easy, right? I mean, it's easy to understand that.
Yeah.
It's easy to understand that
this
you turn on the TV, it's not
this.
coming from your TV, it's coming from an electromagnetic frequency that's coming into your receiver, and then it's translating that into an experience that you can see, hear with your senses. So
Enjoy.
much like a TV transmission, the law of attraction works in a vibrational way because we live in a vibrational universe. Everything in creation is vibrational.
Yeah. Like if you put a microscope over my hand, you would see a bunch of little atoms bouncing around, but all those little atoms create one big atom.
That we perceive as a solid object.
Science teacher assistant right here.
So I hope this is making sense so far. Is that- is it so
yeah,
far?
it's 101. Yeah.
All right, so we are designed in our being, in our vibrational being, that we are a transmitter and a receiver. So we transmit things by virtue of the way we think. You've heard that saying, thoughts become things.
Hmm.
And one of the goals that I have for this webinar is to make the law of attraction less airy-fairy and woo-woo and really something out of your grasp of understanding and making it very practical, because just like the law of gravity is a very practical law that can be understood scientifically, the law of attraction can be understood in a practical way.
I think adding science to spirituality is key, you know,
and practicality
to
spirituality.
Yes.
I like all these ality words.
Ooh.
So by virtue of our thoughts, when we think them, create an electromagnetic current. They are vibrating, just as the sound of my voice is vibrating and carrying to the microphone, just as your hand is vibrating.
My little atoms.
Just as the heartbeat is vibrating, just as all of everything in creation is vibrating, our thoughts vibrate at a certain frequency as well. And those frequencies change depending on the quality of our thoughts. So we can have a high level frequency thought, which is aligned more with thoughts about love and altruism and kindness and compassion and peace. And then lower level vibrations are things like anger and hate and depression, despair. Sadness, despair. So when we know the levels of the frequencies of what we're thinking, we can fine tune those frequencies by thinking different thoughts or believing different beliefs. A belief is just a thought that you think over and over again, right? So when we can examine the thoughts and the beliefs that we have, we can understand what frequency we're transmitting. When we transmit a frequency by our thoughts, by the electromagnetic current of our thoughts, the frequency it's vibrating at, it then goes through the air, much like the electromagnetic
the television
frequency of a television frequency. And then it finds a life experience, a circumstance that you will then receive with your receiver part of your brain that will match the life experience to the quality of the frequency of the thought that you were thinking. Does that sound overwhelming?
No.
Okay, good.
I had to think about it for a minute, but no, it sounds attainable.
It does sound attainable.
It's breaking it down so you understand. So when you have those thoughts, you know to say, stop, I don't want to keep on thinking those thoughts and make them a belief because I want something better for myself.
Exactly. Yeah. So just like when you turn on the television and you say, I don't want to watch this.
I'm really in the mood for telenovelas. So if you put on Disney, you're not going to find telenovelas. But
so
if
or if you don't want to watch something scary at night, because I don't like to fall asleep to true crime because it's really gives me nightmares, but somebody does. So I will turn the channel. I'll change the channel because I know that what I'm receiving on the TV isn't pleasurable to my desire, right? I don't desire to fall asleep watching something scary.
If you keep on watching the scary stuff every single night and you keep on having bad dreams, it's the definition of insanity. Nothing's going to change until you change that channel and watch something that's better. He puts on The Parent Trap, the old school one,
or any royal documentary, really.
True.
So if we can recognize that our life experience that we're experiencing, the story that's being played out before us, what we're going through, or from the time we wake up to the time we go to sleep, if that story that's played out in our life isn't desirable, if it's not something that we want to watch or partake in, if we would like it to be a happier experience, if we'd like to have more romantic love in our experience, if we would like to have more money in our experience, if we would like to have a new car in our experience, if we would like to have a better job or create a business or write a book or whatever that desire is for you, then you get to change the channel of your thoughts just as easily as we change the channel on the TV. Now, I know what everybody's thinking.
It's so easy to pick up a remote and change the channel.
It is. But it's a lot harder than it was when I was a kid, because when I was a kid, we had
Oh.
3 channels, maybe 4, if the weather was good.
And when you lost the remote, you were screwed.
When I was really little, we didn't have the remote. I was the remote. It was like, "Wow, go change the channel."
That is why you are a law of attraction expert.
Because I
you were a
understand.
baby remote.
I was the electromagnetic frequency of the remote control. Now it's hard. It's hard to know what to watch, right? It's hard to know because we have so
Hulu,
many
Disney,
options. So it's,
Netflix, all
if
that.
you don't know what you want going into it, how many times have you been like, I don't know what I don't want to watch this, but I don't know what I want to watch. So let me go to Hulu and flip through all the things. Nope, don't want to watch any of that. Let me go to Netflix. Nope, not any of that. Let me go to Disney Plus. Nope, not any of that.
I'll give you an example. We actually stayed with one of our soul sisters in Tallahassee, and her husband, her daughter, and us two and the 2 dogs. We didn't know what to watch. We couldn't make up our mind. So we watched trailers to get inspired to watch something. And by the time it was like 11 p.m. when we were tired, we had only watched trailers. We never picked out anything because we couldn't make up our mind. So really going into it and having a specific like destination of a channel or a destination of the outcome is key. You can't just be like willy-nilly, I'm just going to see what happens. You have to get specific with the details of what you want and what you desire to
Exactly.
watch and to have in
So-
your life.
It was a lot easier when we had 3 channels because you didn't have options. But we have a lot of options today. And you have a lot of options for what you can create in your life. But you do have to know what you want. That's the first step of this, right? Is the first step is getting clear on what you want. Because obviously, if you turn on the television, you don't have any clarity on what you want to watch, you can just end up watching trailers for 4 hours. So the first step of creating a life that you want using the parameters of the law of attraction is to know what you want to experience, just like you want to know what you want to watch. If you wake up in the day and you are having a bad day and nothing seems to be going right, and every time you see a certain coworker, they just rub you the wrong way, and then you just get into a funk, and then that funk turns into a bigger funk by the time you get home, and then you yell at your spouse, and
It's a spiral.
your kids are
a snowball.
on every last nerve. You have to know, okay, I don't want to watch that anymore, right? I want to create something better. I want to create a job that I wake up excited to go to, that's fulfilling work, that feels like it's aligned with my life's purpose, that makes me go home and feel good about what I contributed to the world that day, and feel so good that when I see my partner, I light up with excitement because I know that we're going to have passionate, amazing conversations and intellectual stimulation and
over a beautiful dinner.
So you have to get really creative
and
use
play
your
with those
imagination
fun ideas
to create in your head first what you really want to experience. And I suggest making a desire list. Make it right on the top of the page, desire list, and then write down everything that you want in your life. Maybe even write an outline of a perfect day for you. What would it be like when you wake up? How do you feel? Do you feel completely rested? Do you feel like you woke up before the alarm? Maybe I don't like waking up to alarms, so that would be way better.
Very, very nice. Yes. I always compare it to Practical Magic when the little girls, they're little and they're talking about having the man of their dreams, and she puts a list together of the man. And in this, she was saying she was afraid to fall in love. So she was making it very, very, very specific, but really later in her life, she manifested that man into her life. And I always think a desire list is perfect, and you can get specific as heck. Get as specific as you want. The more specificity, the better, because those will be manifested into your life.
So here's what we've done so far. We've recognized that within the law of attraction, which states that like vibrations attract like vibrations, we can work within those guidelines to say, okay, I understand that my thoughts are like a television transmitter. When I'm thinking certain things, especially when I think them over and over and over, and they turn into a belief system, then I'm transmitting over and over constantly. The law of attraction is constantly at work. So when I'm transmitting these images, these these desires, these thoughts, these beliefs over and over and over, I'm just sending out a really strong signal out into the ethers that is going to match a life experience, a circumstance in your life experience that will manifest. Now, what is manifestation? Manifestation is co-creation within the guidelines of the law of attraction with universal support, source, God, whatever it is that you call that, the divine, and really being intentional about it. So when we know that
Intention is key.
we're transmitting something, we want to get really, really good at thinking the thoughts that are aligned with what we really want. So the first step is get really clear on what you want. What do you want? Do you want to have $10,000 more a month? Do you want to have 5 vacations a year? Do you want to quit your job and start a business? Do you want to write a book? Do you want to be the top person in your direct sales company? Do you want to do A, B, or C? Whatever it is that you want, you have to know what you want so that you don't spend countless hours watching trailers of what you don't want. Right?
Right.
So the next step is, okay, well, how the heck do you keep track of all the thoughts that are going on in your head? Because we have like, I don't even know, there's like a statistic, we have like 80 kajillion thoughts a day.
Kajillion.
Yeah.
That is the statistic.
Google it. And it would be actually, it would drive you insane if you were to try to monitor every single thought you had.
Yeah.
But thankfully, we were designed and created beautifully, and we have something that can help us along the way. Now, let's say that you were getting in a car and you knew that you wanted to go to the Grand Canyon, but you didn't know how to get there. You would need signs. You would need road sign, goalposts.
Goalpost is a football.
Yeah. Guideposts or signs.
Just signage on the freeway.
You would need some direction.
Direction. There we
to
go.
get you from where you're going to the Grand Canyon, because you're not just going to know where the Grand Canyon is.
You need a compass, maybe,
or you would need your phone because
Trusty
it
little
has
sidekick,
a little
yeah.
GPS device in it. So just like we can use the GPS to get us from where we are to where we want to be, we can use our emotions. Emotions are like the road signs, or emotions are like our GPS. It's much easier to say, what do I feel like right now? How do I feel? Do I feel good? Do I feel bad? Do I feel sad? Is it a good feeling? If I'm feeling good, then that's great. You're on the right road. You're
Lean
on
into
your
that.
way.
Like,
If
take
you're-
the time to feel the emotions. That's one thing. People kind of fake it to make it or something like that. Really take the 5 to 10 seconds. It's not that long. And just sit with yourself and say, how do I really feel right now?
And if it's good, if you feel great,
Then go forward. That
Then-
is amazing.
then you're done. Just keep doing that.
Yes.
Keep doing whatever you're doing.
When you feel good,
But if you're
good things happen.
not feeling good, then that's an indication of your thoughts. Good thoughts, good feelings are indications of your thoughts. If you're feeling good, you're thinking good feeling thoughts. Good feeling thoughts will allow the desires that you're transmitting by virtue of your thoughts to match the life experience that you truly desire and to bring it to you. So when you're feeling good, it's like the airways are clear, my transmission's going through,
No traffic.
there's no
Straight away to the Grand Canyon.
there's no blocks. Like I said earlier, when I was little, we had 3 channels and 4 if the weather was good. It was like
Oh.
there's no interference in the frequencies, transmissions, and all of that stuff. It's just you're feeling good, it's going good.
Easy breezy.
Beautiful cover girl. And then if you're feeling bad, then you go, okay, well, that's an indication that I'm not thinking thoughts that are aligned with what I truly desire, which is a better life experience.
And also, I want to piggyback on that really quick, is that I think a lot of people will feel bad and talk themselves out of feeling bad and say, oh, I'm overreacting or something like that. But always trust your intuition and gut.
Yeah.
So if you have that emotion and it doesn't feel proper, then know that this is not the right feeling next step. So don't second guess. Trust the gut.
Yes.
I mean, this is something I've learned.
And we'll get to taking action in a little bit.
Okay, I went ahead. I'm sorry.
But we really want to be clear, though, that you understand that your emotions are there to help you. Your emotions are your internal GPS system that's going to let you know if you're on the right path or not.
They are your
If at
superpower.
any point you're feeling negative or in those negative frequency emotions, those lower level vibrational emotions,
Mhm.
then you know that you're not thinking thoughts to help you to get closer to what it is that you really truly desire in your life experience. Make sense?
Yes.
So we've talked about, we understand vibration, we understand frequency, we understand that we're transmitting, we understand that we're receiving the life experience when it shows up in our life experience. And thankfully, there's like a delay on this. It's not like we think, oh God, what if a meteor crashed into
Yeah, and
the
it happens
window? And it's
automatically,
like,
you
oh, there's
know?
a meteor. Like you have a buffer time. So
Yeah.
like you can you can go check in with yourself all the time. And it's so much easier to check in with yourself to go, how am I feeling, than what am I thinking?
Yes.
Because when you ask yourself what you're thinking, you're going to overthink about what you're thinking about.
Overthink about it and then judge yourself about it and then spiral into something even different.
So understanding that this is how the universal law of attraction works, that when I'm thinking thoughts, I'm transmitting a frequency, that frequency matches a life experience. It comes into fruition in my circumstance.
Mhm.
That's all within the parameters of the law of attraction. Now, here's where it gets fun, because you get to be creative and you get to purposefully, intentionally choose thoughts that are aligned with what it is that you want. So you can use your imagination. Your imagination is a glorious thing. So you can remember when we were
I was just about to
kids?
tell you, remember when we were kids and we didn't have phones and we only had our imagination and we had all these imaginary friends and I was like the life of the party.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. We don't imagine as adults anymore. We've been conditioned to kind of abandon the concept of play, but play is one of the most powerful frequencies you can be in, because it lightens up everything. There's more levity, there's more fun, there's laughter, there's joy. And when you're
Mhm.
in those high level vibrations, whether you're thinking about what's on your desire list or not, all you're doing is you're just widening. It's like you're on the freeway and you're saying all the traffic
You're
has to
part
part,
the Red Sea. in
and
a
you
way.
can just go through
Yeah.
because you're feeling in a good feeling frequency. And when you're in a good feeling frequency, whether it has to do with what you're thinking you're wanting or not, sometimes it's better to not think about what you want, because you have so much resistance attached to it. Like you really, really want something, but then you want it so hard that it's like you need it. And when you need it, there's desperation. And when there's desperation, you cling.
And that's a
And
negative.
it's pinching
emotion.
off the flow of what can come to you.
You just got to release, surrender a bit.
So sometimes whenever you're doing this, and we'll get a lot of questions like this, well, I've been doing it and I've been saying the affirmations and I've been saying all the right things and thinking the right things and checking in with how I feel and all of these things, but nothing's happening. Well, how hard are you clinging onto what you think the idea is supposed to look like?
And an affirmation can be spoken like I don't know what I'm just gonna make one up. I am fun. And on day 7, if you're not having fun and you say, I am fun, the emotion in that is completely different than the day 1. You have to have the consistency.
Well, and an affirmation in and of itself is words, which are vibrational, right? But if you're saying, let's say that the affirmation is I'm a Smurf. If I'm saying all day long, I'm a Smurf, 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 and then I go to the bathroom and I look in the mirror and I see that I'm actually Val and I'm not a Smurf, then I have a thought that says, I don't believe this. I don't believe that I'm a Smurf, even though I'm having the vibration and the electromagnetic frequency of my words and the vibration of my words are coming out and I'm saying one thing. So people will say, I want more money. I want to have a new house. I want all these
I want to
things.
find my forever
But
partner.
if their thoughts are also transmitting a conflicting frequency, if I'm saying I'm having a new house by the end of this year, but in my head I'm thinking I don't
Not believing it.
believe that I can have a house by the end of this year, or probably more accurately, I don't believe I'm worthy of having a new house this year.
Yeah.
Then that's a muddled thought. That's a muddled
They cancel each
transmission.
other out.
So I can say I'm a Smurf all day long and not become a Smurf because I don't truly believe that I'll ever be a Smurf. So you have to.
I'm happy about that, by the way.
That I'm not a Smurf.
Yeah.
If I was a Smurf, I would want to be Smurfette because she had that pretty long yellow hair.
I'm even happier now you're not a smart bet.
So when you're getting creative about these things and you're thinking thoughts and envisioning things and pretending, start with something small. Start with, I had a client that loved feathers. Feathers were like her sign from the
Yeah,
spirit
when they
guides.
would see the feathers, it
And
would
they
be
would,
a spirit or a grandfather who had passed or
so
something
she
like
would
that.
set
Yeah.
an intention, today I want to see a feather.
Mhm.
And she would hold the image of the feather, a white feather in her mind. She would close her eyes. She could see it in her hand. She would just pretend. She would visualize the feather in her hand. And she didn't get crazy about it, like, oh, it's going to fall from the sky from a white dove that's crossing over Fifth Street and 22nd. It's like, you get specific about the white feather, but don't try to figure out how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because the how is never your job. It's only ever your job to figure out what you really want, align yourself with the high level frequency thoughts like love, compassion, grace, peace, joy, bliss, all of those things consistently, more consistently than the low negative level thoughts.
Yep.
And then allow the universe or God to do the work to get the feather to you. Right?
Co-creation.
It's
Co-creation.
co-creation. So don't worry about the how. Don't get so specific that you've mapped it out in your head exactly how it's going to happen.
I'm going to do a somersault, do 12 jumping jacks, and it's going to follow my hand. That's craziness.
What's really more beneficial for you is to say, I'm going to find a feather and it's going to make me feel validated or secure, or I'm gonna get tickets to Disney World and I'm gonna be so excited whenever my magic band comes in the mail and I'm getting even that much closer to going, right? Like, I get into the feeling frequency of it. If you know you're going to feel excited, then think thoughts that maybe even aren't about your Disney World experience. Think thoughts that make you excited. Do things that put you into the emotion of excitement. And you're just opening an avenue for the Disney trip to come to you even quicker, because all you're doing is you're focusing on the emotion. If you want something that you know is going to make you feel a certain emotion, then practice feeling that emotion consistently throughout your day. And it doesn't have to be related to the Disney trip. It can be excitement about dinner. It can be excitement
I
about
get excited about food.
Dessert. It could be excitement about what
dessert for dinner.
what you're gonna watch on TV when you finally find the right trailer.
I think that one thing you're saying is pretend, and I think a lot of adults think that pretend is a negative thing, but I think pretend is playing with emotions and circumstances and just having fun with what could be, and that will manifest into your life. One of my favorite lines from Harry Potter, and I'm not going to say, I'm going to ask you to, is when Harry dies. Sorry if anyone's not watching it. If you haven't, I'm sorry you haven't, because everyone.
Spoiler alert.
When Harry dies and Dumbledore says, and Harry says, "Is this all real?"
No,
he's gonna correct me. I knew it. That's why I didn't even.
Harry dies, and then he meets Dumbledore in the train station that's in like heaven, a heavenly train station,
like clean.
And he teaches him that he has to go back and beat Lord Voldemort. And then he's walking away and he turns to Dumbledore and he says, "Is this all in my head?" And he said, "Of course it's all in your head. But does that make any difference? Does it make it any less real?" And so when you are thinking,
powerful.
they've done studies on
Thoughts
Olympic,
and emotions are powerful.
They have done studies on Olympic athletes, and they've had put electromagnetic readers, those things on them, and they've asked them to go through if it was a gymnast, to go through their routine in their head, not doing it, just going through it in their head. And their brain was actually firing in the same way that if they were actually doing it. So your brain you can trick your brain. Your brain doesn't know the difference of pretend or really happening. That's why you can have a downward spiral into fear and shame and guilt and regret and all of these things when you go on those rampages of negative thought, and you can feel horrible because your brain doesn't know if it's really happening or if you're just thinking it. So you can think things up. You can think things better. You can think things in a more positive slant.
I feel like it's people believe that the spiraling into negativity and the way they feel is real, but the pretending in their brain and living like they want to, like living now like they have $1 million in their bank account. It's unattainable. But I'm just like, why is the negative so attainable and the positive so unattainable? It's the same thing. Pretending is powerful.
Yeah, exactly. So what did we talk about? We talked about getting clear on your desires, getting really clear on what it is you want, letting your imagination and visualization just play it out in your mind, feeling the way that you will feel when you actually are experiencing it.
Feelings and emotions are key.
And then here's the gas pedal of the whole thing. Here's what
Ooh.
makes it quicker, faster, funner, better, bigger, all the ers. So you're in your car, you know where you want to go. You want to go to the Grand Canyon. You know how to get there because you have your signs, which are your emotions.
Mhm.
And now you have to press the gas, right? To accelerate to get you there. And the gas pedal of this whole creation process that we call manifesting is gratitude. So if you can feel grateful
Mhm.
for something before you even have it, that might be harder than being grateful for what you already have, even if it's just being grateful for hearing this maybe for the first time ever, or for grateful for waking up that day, or for having a roof over your head, or having warm water, or having food in your refrigerator. Just gratitude is the great multiplier. So when you're more and more grateful for whatever it is, you open up another avenue for more good things to be grateful for, to be brought into your life experience. So if you can think about it like, I'm transmitting what I want by virtue of my thoughts. I know what I'm thinking by the way I feel.
Mhm.
And I know that if I change the way I feel by thinking differently, or by doing something else that's going to elevate my mood, when I elevate my emotion, my thoughts will automatically elevate, which is elevating the frequency that I'm transmitting from, which is then allowing everything that I want to be received in my receiver mode to come to me even quicker. I'm going to be grateful for everything I can find. Everything I can find, and that's going to be like the gas pedal. That's just going to make it show up in my life experience even quicker. Does that make
Yes,
sense?
it makes so much sense. And because we're all about fun, we have little games that we play each day and with our clients that help people be grateful and remind them to start thinking that way. Every morning, you taught me this like in 2012, and I think I've been doing it for 11 years now. Every morning I state something, 5 things I'm grateful for each morning. And it starts out pretty easy. And he tells me I can't repeat, but I mean, after like 7 days, I probably do. I don't know. I don't write this down, but I will go to the bathroom. Well, that's too much information. Okay. I will go somewhere and I will say 5 things I'm grateful for each morning, just to start my morning off in a place of gratitude and a good feeling vibration, like first, I mean, when I first started, it was like, well, I'm having a decent hair day today, or my eyes are really pretty. But then you got to get a little bit deeper and you start being grateful for the things that are in your life. My 17-year-old cat, who is just lights me up when he runs in, the roof over my head, the little truck that I have that gets me from point A to point B, my talent, my art, my friends who I can Zoom, my family, it just keeps on going. And then with our clients, we play the ABC gratitude game. So
Right.
we'll start off with something you're grateful that starts with an A. It's always Adam. And then someone else will say B. Bananas. I don't know. Whenever I'm on the spot, I can't think of words.
C, cat. D, dog. E, everything. This all sounds great and easy. But you have been practicing thinking and believing. Remember, a belief is just a thought that you've thought over and over and over. You've practiced thinking it so much that now it's ingrained in your subconscious and you believe it. So if you've had years of practice, however old you are now, all of these years to practice a belief that says that what you truly desire isn't possible, or that what you truly desire isn't attainable, or that what you truly desire you are not worthy of. I truly believe that the diminished self-worth, you can see this everywhere that I write things, the diminished self-worth is the limitation of human potential. If we truly believe that we are worthy of having what we desire, then we can have or do or be anything. So it really comes down to loving yourself and identifying your inherent self-worth. Now that takes a long time. That's why we're going to tell you later about the 12-month program that we have where we
Yeah,
will
it doesn't
support
happen
you through
overnight.
this.
Yeah, it doesn't happen
But
overnight.
remember
because
that you have practiced for years believing
That
the
you weren't
opposite
good
of
enough.
what you want.
Mhm.
You've believed for years that you can't have what you want, or that it's too hard, or that you're too old,
Or you'll
you're
achieve
too
it when you
young,
retire.
or that you're not smart enough, or that you're not pretty enough, or that you have all these belief systems that tell you you're not enough to have what you want. It's going to take a while to combat those belief systems that you've practiced for so long, just like learning a new language. When you learn a new language, it doesn't happen overnight. So give yourself grace in this whole process. Start with something small like a feather. Prove to yourself this works.
Yeah.
Don't take my word for it. Go out and try it. Try it for yourself. Set an intention that you're going to find something that day. You're going to find a feather, or you're going to hear a song, or you're going to,
You know, you started
see-
this, I remember in like 2016, and you would say, I want to see an elephant.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not like we were in Florida. It's not like an elephant's going to be strolling down the road, but we would go to the store and there would be shirts with elephants on them, or we would be driving by and there would be a big sign of a new business coming and it had an elephant in its logo. All those little things, be aware of the surroundings around you, because signs are all around you.
So when those thoughts come up, when those beliefs, when you encounter those belief systems that set you back, that say, well, I love this. It sounds great. I would love to be able to just make a desire list and all those things happen and show up in my life experience if I'm thinking better thoughts and feeling better all the time. You're not going to feel great all the time. You're not. You're going to
You're a
have
human
those
being.
belief systems that creep back in.
Mhm.
And that's why doing things like playing the ABC gratitude game, or doing
I do art therapy in a way.
art therapy.
So I'll, like, you know, the adult coloring books, like it gets you back into that existence of that childlike wonder.
Or cooking, or doing
Cooking.
something that brings you joy.
Flower arranging.
And here is one of the best tools to, let's call those belief systems that maybe are, or you inherited, maybe they're inherited belief systems,
A lot
maybe
of them
they
are.
are conditioned belief systems that we
Yeah.
believe because of what we've been taught from society. Or maybe they're just belief systems that we've started to believe whenever we started to believe that we weren't worthy enough. When that thing happened, or that thing that was said to us at 8 years old diminished our self-worth, and we started to
So we
think,
pushed
oh,
it down and
I'm not
we
worthy
carried
of
it
having what
along.
I want. You know, when those things creep in, play games, play the gratitude game, but let's call that all resistance. That's all resisting what we want to be allowing, right? So we transmit these thoughts, we get really clear about what we want, and we're giving all these things, but then whenever that transmission is kind of coming back to us and should be in receiving mode, we sometimes let those old thought patterns, those old belief
They
systems
creep
back up, and then we create resistance. And that's like
Mhm.
we're creating our own bad weather, and the antenna can't
and you're
receive
down to 3 channels.
the things that we want, and we're down to 3 channels again. Those 3 channels don't look very fun. So we want to get rid of the resistance as much as we can, right? By just identifying it. What is it that I believe that's stopping me from allowing this desire to be made manifest in my life experience right now? What is it I believe? Maybe I truly believe that I'm not smart enough. If I believe that I'm not smart enough to create a business, to write a book, if those are the things I desire, but I have this belief system that says I'm not smart enough, then we have to look at that belief system and we have to combat it. Sometimes we'll have our clients write out what they want and then what they believe that's preventing them from having it. And sometimes it'll be like exactly what I said. I want to write a book, but I don't think I'm smart enough. And so we'll say, okay, well, is that ultimately true that you're not smart enough? No, it's not. There's a lot of books that I've read that have been written by very unintelligent people. So so you can write a book.
And they're great books.
And they're great books.
Yeah.
So it's really starting to just question those belief systems that you've held and say, is this really a true belief system? Or have I just been on autopilot with the thoughts and beliefs that I've been living? And one of the things that we'll have them do is write the exact opposite. So
Yeah.
if my belief system is, if it's I want to write a book, but I believe I'm not smart enough, then the opposite of that would be, I believe that I'm smart. I believe that I'm smarter than some of the people that have written books and they've been published and there's bestsellers on Amazon or something. So like, so maybe I am smart enough. Do you see how it's just like, it's just
playing.
It's just
Just
playing with the energy of the
reconfiguring the word.
belief.
Because one thing
And
I,
then baby stepping.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just like going, I'm not smart
not
enough
0 to 60.
to I'm the smartest person in the world. It's
I'm
going,
Einstein.
well, let me use a little bit of thought process here. I'm not smart enough. Well, is it true that I'm not smart enough? No, I think I'm pretty smart. If I wasn't smart, I wouldn't have the idea to write the book in the first place. So I have the idea to write the book. That's
Ding,
pretty
ding,
intelligent
ding.
right there. So then what's the next step? Could I write an outline? Yeah, I think that's pretty easy. I could read how to create, I could Google. I mean, like we have so much help. I could go on AI and be like, can you help me create an outline for a book that I have this idea for? And then I can go in and look at it and say, okay, well, I like this. Let me change that. Seems aligned with what I was thinking. And then we could go to the next step. Okay, well, then what do I do after the outline? Let me try writing a chapter. And it's just about taking baby steps. You can't get from a belief system that you've practiced for 25 years and then get to a brand new belief system overnight. It doesn't work. You have to take baby steps.
Mhm. Yes, that was amazing with that rant. I loved it. Also, I want everyone to know that we are here on this earth because we deserve what we desire. And these beliefs have diluted that. But know, like when you practice these belief systems and implementing gratitude into your life and trying and playing with law of attraction and playfulness and all that, know that you were put on this earth for positive things, for whatever you desired. You are very deserving. So whenever those egoic thoughts creep in, say, well, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, say, I deserve what I want. And just always remember that. Like maybe write it down somewhere just to remind you daily. Just thought
And-
I'd add that.
Yes, absolutely. I love that.
Okay, thank
And
you.
if you're thinking thoughts that are or have belief systems that are not truly your belief systems, if it's an egoic thought, if it's something that you were taught by your parents or your grandparents or your teacher at school, or just by seeing things
Whatever
on television or
traumatized you as a
on
child, you know?
Instagram or whatever it
Yeah,
is that's
social media is
causing you
hard.
to not believe in your dreams or desires or in yourself, then sometimes it's better to look away from that for a bit, right? But like I said earlier, it doesn't have to be related to what it is that you want. As long as you're in a good feeling mood, as long as you have positive, good feeling frequency emotions, then you're transmitting positive, good feeling things.
And that's
And when
when
you have a desire, when you have your desire list, it's already out there. It's almost as if you put your
already
order
put it out
in,
there, yeah.
right? Through a catalog, or we don't have catalogs.
oh, remember Sears catalogs like that?
We had service merchandise, and I would go through and circle everything I wanted for Christmas. And
I have no
um,
idea what that is,
it
but
was a
okay.
store that happened in the South. I don't know if it was in where you were from or not. But it's almost like ordering from an online shop, right? We go on, we order, we know it's going to be here, and then we just stop thinking about it. We don't have to think about it, what it is that we want all the time. We have to get clear on what we want, imagine it, think about it, feel what it would feel like, and then let it go. Like push send on your order, and then know that it's coming.
Was it
And
blessed
then if
release
there's any time that you think, I don't know if it's coming or not, you know, like I don't know, let me go on and check the tracking. Oh, it's still in transit. Okay, well, that's like going in and checking with your emotions. It's coming to me, I know, because I ordered it. I transmitted the thought that produces the thing. And then if I ever doubt it, I can check in on the tracking by checking on how I'm feeling. And I don't have to reorder it again by thinking the whole thing all over again. I just have to go, am I feeling good or am I feeling bad? If I'm feeling good, that means the tracking is all good. The truck is on its way. It's delivering my goals and dreams and desires.
If you're feeling good, it's rush delivery.
Rush delivery.
And if you're feeling bad, it may get delivered to the wrong person and you may get it like a week later. Once you start believing again,
but once
it's going to come.
Once you order, by virtue of your thoughts and
It's already
transmitting,
set in motion.
it's already happening. You just have to get out of the way
Align.
and believe that you're worthy of having it. Check in with yourself about how you're feeling. What are my emotions telling me? If I'm feeling good, great. That truck is on its way. If I'm feeling bad, let's do something to adjust how I'm feeling. Let's think new thoughts. Let's do something. Let's watch a TV show that I love. Let's listen to a playlist that always brings me joy. Let's go
Art
on a
therapy,
picnic.
Cooking, all the things
All
that we
the
were saying.
things.
Yeah.
So get in the joyful vibration. If that's the one thing that you could take away from today, is know what you want, think about it, feel like it, you have it, pretend, visualize, and then feel good.
Feel good.
Just
have
do
fun.
what it takes to feel good.
Yeah.
It's good to feel good, as Gabby Bernstein, our teacher, says.
Yeah.
So we're gonna end with that there, because I think we gave you a lot today, and I don't want to overwhelm you to the point that you say, I don't want to practice this yet.
All right.
So-
It's a little daunting.
So I
I
want
think
you
to
to-
become a remote. What? Yeah.
I want you to take all of the things that we've said and start to practice them and see what happens in your life and let us know. We're gonna take some Q&A after we tell you about our offer. If this is something that you really you're turned on by the idea, it lights you up and you feel passionate about it and you want to learn more and you would like to learn more over a longer period of time.
And you like working with us and having fun with us.
And maybe you had fun and you thought we were funny and you were like, I'd like to get to know these guys and let them lead me in this for a year.
Yeah.
Then you can go to my website, valwhite.com, and you will see all of the details that are there outlining our Pinnacle Mastermind program, which is 8 months of content sent to you every week.
We call it soul work, which is amazing.
And then that comes in forms of meditations, journaling, exercises,
art therapy, which I brought up a few times. Is
visualizations.
Yeah.
And then we have group calls with the people in the group.
We have 8 group calls and 16 one-on-one calls. And also we're going to have community building calls, which will be fun activities that we'll be doing, maybe art therapy together or doing vision boarding together. We are really excited about this.
We have retreats throughout the year that when you're a Pinnacle Mastermind program attendee, then you get great discounts on those. There's all kinds of bonuses. Go to the website, check it out. You'll see all of it outlined.
All the
You'll see
things.
how every month breaks down, and you have a whole year of support. So even though you have just 8 months of curriculum, you have the rest of the year of us on Voxer, on Zooms, texting. Let me know what's going on in your life. Let's fix it. Let's adjust the vibration.
Let's change the channel.
Sometimes the calls look like, this is what I've been working on. This is what the soul work brought up for me. This is how I would like to change this. And it's sometimes just a belief or a thought that we can just tweak and just play around with the energy and the frequency of the thought. And it's a really fun experience. And if this was fun and you want more, then go to valwhite.com, check it out.
Yes.
And now we're going to open up the floor for some Q&A.